Hi Annie, it's great to see you again. And hello Chaz, it's good to meet you at
Hello.
last. How are you both doing?
Yeah, we're doing great, aren't we?
We are. At this present moment, we're in an uncertain period. When you get to see this recording, we may be back in the UK, or we may be still in Nepal, and we may be in quarantine. At the moment, we've got this uncertainty, and we're waiting to get what's called a charter evacuation flight out of Kathmandu. The airport shut to all regular scheduled flights. But we're fine. We're in our own flat. We've got a safe place to be, so we're fine.
Good, good. Well, that's good to hear. It is amazing to be able to meet up with you from across the other side of the world and to record this. We are conscious, very conscious of the difficulties in Nepal at the moment. It's starting to filter through into the news here. So how have things been going for you, particularly during the pandemic?
I'll let Chaz answer this one.
Well, the restrictions here in Nepal have been going up and down because, as Annie has pointed out, that there is political instability here, and in that there's lots of conflicting information, and the news from outside of Nepal depicts a very poor situation. And here in Nepal, we know that there are many Nepalis here, many nationals that are very worried about the situation here as the rates are increasing. And one of the things that Annie has pointed out is that many people here they appear to have COVID, and so we need to treat people as if they have COVID. But then, you know, we go through the life here, and we make sure that we stay safe, just like you do in the UK, and we're just sensible about all the things that we do. So it's a case of just working through that on a daily basis, and actually going to the shops is, you know, if a shop's crowded, we don't go in. So it's just using common sense as we go about our business.
Yeah.
Looking back then over this last year, what are the things you found particularly rewarding? What have you been most grateful for during this time, and actually perhaps even before that, during your whole time in Nepal, because your time has come to an end there now, isn't it, after all these years you've been out there?
Yeah, so I'll talk first of all just about the last year, which is both of us. Of course, we got married last August, but we started in the lockdown, in the pandemic here in Nepal. So up to June, the end of June last year, we were in lockdown here in Kathmandu. Then we went back to the UK when you were just beginning to come out of lockdown. And then we stayed in the UK and went into another lockdown with you up to February this year. The UK was still in a difficult time, so we came back here, but here was better at that time, and now we've gone into another lockdown here. So it's kind of been one country and another, and between the two. But what's been amazing and blessings in all that time is that we've been able to come back to our own flat and had the time to pack it up. We've had friends and colleagues that we've connected with in both countries, churches we've connected with in both countries, prayer support we've had in both countries, and a community around us, both when we're in Scotland and here and around the community we live here in Kathmandu, hugely supportive. So we've never felt that we couldn't go to somebody for help or that we weren't being supported. So that's the first thing to say. But now I'm going to share with you a little PowerPoint, which will kind of highlight the last 9 years for me. Of course, BMS has been, and as a BMS church, you've been supporting me for the last, I think, 7 years, but I've actually been in Nepal for 9 years. So I'm going to talk more now, but that's not sort of ignoring. And I think I'm going to ask Chaz actually. I'm going to ask Chaz to say something about his 29 years. You see, mine's 9. Something.
Impressive.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I came here 29 years ago, as Annie says. it's been a time that I've seen many changes in Nepal. But the important thing for me, I think, is during all of this time, the most important thing there are two main things here that I've discovered is that one is that faith in God is most important. It's trusting in Him, and the second thing is relationships here. Sometimes it's very easy to build relationships, but it's quite difficult to keep them. And I think that's very important too. And we've got, both of us have some long-lasting relationships here that we would want to keep on when we leave as well. So those are the two main things that I've come away from for 29 years. But the other thing too is, whatever work that we've done, both Annie and myself, is that we've seen people grow. We've been working with people, we've been encouraging them. And this is through relationships. And this is helping, this is helping to leave behind a legacy, if you like. So that's quite important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to now say a little bit more about the last 9 years for me. It's interesting that actually Chaz shared about relationships, because if I was going to say anything about my last 9 years, it's the richly treasured relationships and connections that I've had. And this first slide kind of like summarizes them all, but it doesn't say everything about all those. And I'm going to unpack some of them actually for you now. So the first set of relationships that I'm going to talk about is the Nepali teachers. I mean, that's what I came here to do, but it's not all that I've done. I came as both a teacher and a teacher trainer. I'd already been working, as many people will know, from Slough and Windsor. I was working with Slough and Windsor schools for many years, working with teachers in primary and secondary. So I've had, across 6 different regions in Nepal, I've met and worked with a range of teachers. And the focus has been equipping them with the skills that they're going to need to transform both their lives and the young people they work with. But I've done that through all sorts of different projects and connections, sometimes working with large groups, sometimes working one-to-one. And I've built up such a connection with teachers, particularly if I've worked with them for more than a year. Some I worked with for 3 or 4 years and got to know very well. And I've had a focus on creativity, which is something of a passion for me, to bring out the creativity of teachers and for them to bring out creativity in young people. And through that they might discover more about what that creativity is and where it comes from. So that's something that I've been privileged to do. This is another set of treasured relationships. These are all my EQUIP colleagues. So EQUIP stands for the Education Quality Improvement Programme, and it's part of an umbrella organisation called HDCS, which actually Chaz works for. He works with the whole element of that, and I work with the education part of that. That's actually how we met, another story. But these are such treasured relationships, and they've gone on for now 9 years. And actually what I want to say is, in that bottom picture, all of those children, bar one, didn't exist 9 years ago. So that's amazing. So my colleagues got married, some of them had many children, and new colleagues have arrived. Most of my colleagues are Nepali, but a few are from one other from the UK and one other from the United States at the moment. But over the years, we've had other countries as well. The bottom left picture is what we were doing during lockdown. We were connected. So as I said at the beginning, we spent about 8 months in the UK, but I still continued to work with my colleagues. And I have this amazing positive feeling about the fact that they will go on to be such capable people in the future working with these schools. I've left, Chaz was talking about legacy. I have mentored and coached every single one of my colleagues and worked with them, not just team teaching, but worked with them to develop their skills. And so I'm leaving a legacy with them. Nothing is lost, but they will do it in their own way. It won't be another version of me. This is another treasured connection. These are my Nepali church connections. And over the last 9 years, because I've got to know many children, young people and their parents, and spent many meals with them. We've had many picnics. We've had amazing opportunities to have church inside and outside. Sadly, during the lockdown, it was really quite difficult to connect at times, but they also had online church. So we at times did connect with them through that. And the lovely thing is that when we arrived back in February, Chaz and I had a chance to go to my home church, my Nepali home church, and his Nepali home church. So that was great, and connect with the pastors and the families there. And the other amazing thing about the connection with the churches over the 9 years is their amazing stories and their amazing testimonies. And these have given me a unique insight into the growth of the church in Nepal. And it's actually impacted on my own faith journey. I would say I'm not the same person I was 9 years ago. My faith has developed through the faith of others. And I would love to share more stories with you. When I was, I think, talking with you in 2019, I made a visit to Deadwood Baptist. You may have remembered me telling you the stories of these 4 people. So Sadiqa, Pooja, Dinesh, and Krishna. And Krishna is there with his wife, and Dinesh with his wife. These are still treasured connections, and I could unpack more of their stories, but you know a little bit about them, and I've asked you to continue praying with them. But they are part of my journey, part of my experience, and part of those treasured connections. The other connections I was wanting to focus on is the international church here. And the amazing thing about this is that it has within it a refugee community, mainly from countries like Pakistan and some from India, where they've escaped from those countries into Nepal temporarily in order to get out to another country. There's been amazing stories there, and many. One of the most amazing is the family that came here, were here for 6 years and now live in Canada. And that is an amazing transformation for them. But the amazing thing about the international church is that I have connected with people from over 35 different countries in the last 9 years. And when I say connected, really sort of genuinely built relationships with every single one of those people from those countries. And of course, what that does is also expand my understanding of God, my relationship with God, and the diversity of the worldwide church. And so that's huge and rich, and I will bring that back into anything I do in future. All of these will be very valid opportunities to share what I know. And the leading of this group was an amazing opportunity to lead and share with others, just amazing. And then another treasured connection are with these people. These are some of the leading experts in education in Nepal. I mean, I can't believe I arrived in Nepal 9 years ago with one suitcase, and I had no idea really what I'd be coming to do. I knew that it would be something to do with education, but I never imagined that I'd be working with people who are developing education in Nepal. So the Ministry of Education, the Kathmandu University, the leaders of education in community, young people, young leaders, amazing. You know, those are very special opportunities that I think God's grace just handed to me on a plate. I didn't strive to do them. They just came to me. Amazing.